Did Babangida purposely leave Abacha behind while he was living in 1993?
Definitely. After that Oka coup in 1990, and they were able to rescue Babangida and quash the coup. Babangida had made a promise that he would see that Sani Abacha too became president.
After the Oka coup?
Because he saved his life. So he felt that he too should be able to get to the zenith of the presidency.
So the transition program was a hoax?
It was all a hoax. That is why President Obasanjo told Abiola, let Babangida go first before you come out to contest. Before Abiola declared for the June 12, he went to Obasanjo's house in Ota. I happened to be in Abiola's house, waiting for an appointment to see him. And when he came back, he sent everybody away and he was very angry. So I asked the security details that were his escort, the car that used to escort him around. I asked, why is Chief angry? What happened? They said that he went to Obasanjo's house and at Ota. And General told him he shouldn't contest. He should let Babangida go first. He should allow him to go. Well, when he has gone, he should come out. And Obasanjo said the same thing in the newspapers everywhere, that he should allow him to leave the place first before you come out to say you want to become a civilian president. That let him leave Aso Rock first. That don't say he's going and come and contest. Because Obasanjo definitely knew his boys. They are his boys, they are his friends, they are his juniors. He knows them. He knows their plans even beforehand. He knows what they want to do. You know, initially, Babangida offered Abiola the transitional government. Abiola refused it.
This was after he had annulled June 12.
No, before the June 12 election. You know, they first did a transitional government that they put Shonekon there. He was the head of the transitional government, like a test something. He offered it to Abiola, and Abiola said no, he doesn't want to play second fiddle. He would want to go directly for the presidency. And when he refused that, eventually Shonekon got the interim head. So it was from then that Obasanjo had known that Babangida is not handing over, really. Because of all these long transitions he has been doing, cancelling the elections of Yar'Adua and others who had contested earlier on some political platforms, SDP and NRC. You know, he said he didn't know what Babangida was planning to do. That if Babangida says good afternoon, you should look at whether the sun is up or whether it's night time, that he's not sure, because Babangida will say this now, he will say something tomorrow. So he said if you allow him to go first. So, but Abiola did not listen. He went to do the election, declared for the election, won the election, and the election was annulled by Babangida.
You made the point that Babangida had even told Abiola that he won't hand over to him. You made the point in your book.
He didn't want to hand over to him. He said that because he stammers, that he wouldn't fit the position. He might not be able to function properly as a president. He didn't want to hand over to him. Actually, I think Babangida wanted to stay for 10 years. Wait till 95. 2 more years. He wanted to stay there for 2 more years. But Abacha had been promised he would rule Nigeria too. So that was why he was left behind after Babangida stepped aside and they created the interim government. So after the interim government, Abacha is set to set up his own structures and then take over the government.
Was it that MKO was not reading the character of the military?
He wasn't. He forgot actually that you might win an election, but the sitting president or sitting head of state is the one that we have to hand over to you. And if a sitting president doesn't want to hand over to you, it's going to be difficult for you to emerge as the president. You might have the vote of the public, of the people, but it doesn't guarantee who is going to put the crown on your head. Who is going to do the handover? There must be somebody that hands over. When Obasanjo became president, Abdul Salam handed over to him. everybody always hands over. So, and if this president is reluctant and doesn't want to hand over to you, then how do you want to get there?
You know,
After they annulled the election, Abiola went with Kola Abiola to Abuja to see Babangida, and Kola was told to wait outside. And Abiola went in with Babangida to discuss. He had not even annulled the election then. He stopped it. He stopped the election. He stopped the announcement. He had not said they're not annulled. So they went to Abuja. He and Babangida went in. It was televised on television. They went in for about 45 minutes, just the two of them. And when they both came out, they kept sealed mouth, sealed lips. None of them discussed what they discussed within themselves inside their small meeting, which Kola was not allowed to attend. He said he should wait outside, that they want to talk one-on-one. And they spoke for 45 minutes. And when he came out, he refused to tell the press, he refused to tell the journalists what they discussed at the time. Both men kept sealed lips. And that was what sealed the annulment. So when Babangida would annul the election, the journalists, people, the press couldn't defend it much, because Abiola had gone to discuss and they were asking, what did you discuss with him? And he refused to tell us. Up to today, nobody knows what the two discussed.
You suggested that perhaps in that meeting, Abiola agreed.
We don't know what they discussed. Nobody knows what they discussed. But maybe he has checkmated Abiola, that because maybe you did something, you did this, or there's an information, and Abiola had no choice but to keep mum. He kept mum.
Or perhaps he said, he who fights and run away, we also live to fight another day.
Maybe.
He kept quiet for a while. Developed his own strategy.
Yes.
By this time, Abacha had emerged.
No, Abacha had not emerged.
No, by the time he was ready to now fight for his mandate, Abacha had emerged.
No, it wasn't like that. When they annulled the election, Abiola started getting threats later on that some people were plotting to assassinate him. And then he jetted out of Nigeria.
Yes.
And then he did a CNN interview. And it was that CNN interview that killed the whole June 12 internationally. They asked Abiola, why did you leave Nigeria? He said, I did an election and I won the election. They asked him, but you are the friend of Babangida. Why are you now fighting this government? He said, because I won an election and I want to be president too. They said, and I want to make a change in Nigeria. So they asked him, CNN asked him again, that for a man who wants to make a change in Nigeria, why did you supply bread worth 35 cents in the US at $5 to ECOMOG soldiers? For a man who wants to make a change in Nigeria, why did you overinflate or accept this kind of contract that made the bread so expensive? The bread of 35 cents was being supplied at $5 a loaf. And Abiola didn't have a defense for that. He stammered, and that was the end of the interview. And, it ended there. So he knew that the international community was not going to support him. They were not in support of him, especially after he was doing his asking for reparations for the slavery that the Americans and the Europeans had done in the centuries behind. They wanted reparations. So they knew that he didn't have support. He didn't have support from the Western government, from the West and in the United States. So the best thing was to come back home. There was no defense anymore. That's what killed the June 12 support internationally. Once they had done that interview on CNN, it wasn't so publicized at the time because we didn't have cable at the time. But Ogun State government, the Ogun State TV was the one that showed the interview. Well, I watched it. So I saw the interview. I watched it on television. So I saw it. So that's what killed the June 12 internationally. Once they had said that for a man who wants to make a change and the bread you have sold, you supplied at exorbitant, how do you want to make a change to Nigeria?
But he didn't kill June 12 internationally.
He did.
He later read his head.
It will discourage the key players, the people who will have a say, who can put pressure on the African governments to do the right things and things like that. They were not supporting.
And when he got home, it's like he struck a deal with Abacha.
Abacha said he could come home, that he would be okay, he would be safe. And he came. He came back home. He was received at the airport, a rousing welcome. And later on, Dia and Abacha would arrange for him to come and see them. And they talked about, I know you won the election, but I want to be president. But before that, that was when, after he came back, it was after that they did the coup that he now took over. Abiola first came back home to Nigeria. Then people were putting pressure on Abacha and on the military that they should kick Shonekon out. And Shonekon was now sidelined. There was his palace coup. Definitely, Shonekon was Abacha's personal friend. They were very close friends. So over the years, they've been friends. Because Shonekon's house, the UAC official house, the chairman's house, was very close to the flag house, which was Abacha's house. So Abacha used to send Shonekon rams every holiday, Christmas, Ileya, every Easter. You will see 2 rams in their house. He used to send rams there. So definitely, they were very close friends. So there was no need to do any bloody coup. All it was just, I'm taking over now. Time up. You can go back to Lagos. Hand over to me. So, and that's what happened. Abacha took over smoothly. And Abiola came to see him after he had taken over from Shonekon, and Shonekon had been retired back to Lagos. Abacha was now the president. He now said, Abiola now went there, and Abacha promised, I know you spent so money on the election. I will return all your money and also hand over to you when I finish. I want to be president for some time. He said maybe 6 months or 1 year. But you know that definitely as a head of state, somebody will want to stay there about maybe a year, 2 or 3 or more. So that's the thing. They want to stay there a year or 2 or more.
Was Abiola deceived?
I won't say he was deceived. He was pressured by the supporters, the former governors and those who are doing ADECO and all the other who are human rights, who are agitating for the revalidation of his mandate. They wanted to revalidate his mandate. They wanted them to give him back his mandate. But the Abacha said, I'm not the one that cancelled the election. It was Babangida that cancelled the election. Babangida is gone. He handed over to Shonekon. I have taken the government from Shonekon. Now, I'm the president or head of state. So when I leave, that's the agreement. When I leave, I will hand over to you. But that's why Abiola waited for about 6 months or almost a year before he started again. The agitation started all over again. I think it triggered off by David Mack, who gave an interview to either Tell magazine or one of the magazines. He gave an interview there, and then he was saying that they were deceiving Abiola, that you were not going to hand over to him. But there was an agreement already that I'm going to be there for some time. If I'm there for some time, when I'm leaving, I will give it to you. So it was Abiola. He broke the agreement between the two of them. And went to declare himself as president.
The expected declaration.
The declaration. And Obasanjo warned him, don't declare yourself again. He called him from overseas, from London or New York, and said, don't declare yourself as president because they will see it as treason. But Abiola didn't listen. It was his disobedience that led all to the crisis and everything that we had in Nigeria,
Obasanjo had done an analysis for him at some point.
Yes.
That these same guys made you. They helped to make you. So you are a rich man and you still want political power. They won't allow it. That analysis, is it on point?
Well, Obasanjo's position had always been that you can't have power and have money at the same time. He told Abiola, you have been blessed with money. You are a successful businessman. You are very rich. You are even like a president. They know you all over the world, everywhere. Now you're asking for power again. You can't have both. You can only have one. It's better you take one. Either you take the power or you take the money. And since you have the money, stay with the money. But today, the same President Obasanjo has said, things have changed. People want power and they also want the money. But everything was just an unfortunate incident because it could have been resolved easily by just being more patient, and everything would have fallen into place.
We've been mentioning Obasanjo in this analysis.
He was involved because we were blaming him that he was one of the people that sabotaged the June 12. He didn't sabotage the June 12. He was the one that honestly told Abiola the truth. And by fighting for Abiola is what eventually will put Obasanjo in prison. And that's why he would not recognize the June 12, because he said if Abiola did not disobey him, all this would have happened. If Abiola had waited, let Babangida go, there would have been no problem. If he had not announced himself as the president, there would be no treason, there would be no anger, there would be no challenge to the sitting government. The sitting government would not feel threatened. The sitting government was feeling threatened because everybody in southern Nigeria initially were working together. Later on, the East would not join with the June 12 agitators anymore. They were first. Everybody was first together. The North now broke off. Then the East, they backed down. Then Dia was begged to speak with the Yorubas. And he tried so well, but they refused to listen to him. They were the ones that continued agitating for the mandate.
Was that also Dia's undoing? That he could not calm the Yoruba nation?
Calm the Yoruba nation down.
So at that point, he became irrelevant.
Because if he had succeeded, if they had listened to him, it would have been a plus for him. He would have succeeded. He would have been able to, when, as a vice president or the deputy head of state, second in command to the head of state, he expected to be able to speak to Yoruba leaders, Yoruba traditional rulers, politicians, and all those in the human rights and who are agitating for the mandate of the June 12 election. They felt he could have been able to speak to his people. You know, in the North, once the leader speaks to the people, you know, they operate a feudal system. Once the leader has said, let us take this position or let us take this direction, everybody seems to toe the line.
But that's not Yoruba land.
That's not Yoruba land.
It's an educated elite.
It's an educated elite. It's a different thing. They want to do their thing in the way they want to do it.
Dia could not penetrate them.
He couldn't penetrate them. It was unfortunate. But Dia really tried, because when Abiola was eventually detained initially, Dia got his release. He went to beg everybody to come and beg Sani Abacha, and Abacha, after 1 hour, he started laughing and he said, okay, they should go and release him. And everybody was happy. And everything calmed down, and everybody was waiting, jubilating that he's coming back home, that he will be released to the Oni of Ife, Chijuade, at the time, that he will be released to Oni of Ife, and they will hold his passport. The Oni should see that he doesn't make any trouble, he doesn't cause any problem in the society anymore in Nigeria, you know, we wanted a stable government. Abacha was just trying to settle down. He wanted a stable government. And that was what happened.
Abiola refused the bill.
Abiola now refused the bill, which was a terrible thing, because Dia knew the kind of lifestyle Abiola lived, and he thought, it's not a man. This is not the kind of man that you should put in prison. Somebody that had been very successful since the early 70s. You can't put him in the Nigerian cell, and that's not fair. It was a terrible thing.
Abiola did not read the signs.
He did not read the signs. Maybe he didn't know. He felt maybe that he wouldn't be able to.
Or he wanted to be a martyr.
I couldn't understand it.
Yeah, he wanted to fight for democracy.
I couldn't understand it.
He wanted to fight for a new politics. And that struggle paid off. It gave Nigeria a democracy. So we should salute Abiola for that decision, for refusing that bail condition. Perhaps that if he had accepted it, Abacha would still have been Nigeria's president.
No, if he accepted it, maybe they would have considered giving him the mandate at the end of the day when Abacha would leave office.
Remember, Abacha began to plot to succeed himself.
Because he was not yet ready to go, maybe, at the time.